The following podcast is a Connect Media production.
Outside of word of mouth, nobody knows who you are. So your website kind of shows who you are, how legit you are.
You have to figure out what your customer's hook is and then how to present that on your website before they get to you. Welcome back, family, to the first quarter. I'm your host, Joy.
And I'm your co-host, Kamal.
So today's topic we're going to jump right into is about your website. Do you need one? Do you need one professionally done? How should you go about it? What do you think?
When we first started our electrical business, we had kind of a free website, and I didn't think it was that important. I just thought, word of mouth, passing out cards, kind of just doing things the old-fashioned way would be, good enough to grow your business. But I think I was wrong.
I tend to think when you start, you want to get out the gate. So whatever feels like it's going to stagnate you from getting out the gate, because getting out the gate is important, you should go ahead and do. So if a Wix or Square type of website is affordable for you at the time, I think do it. But I don't think you stay there. And I don't think you stay there very long. I think like 6 months in, you need to actually start figuring out how to get a website that is competitive with what's in your industry.
Yeah, I think the website, just from me learning the past 2 years, is very, very important to grow and, building your business up. If you want like a legit, scalable business, which that's the model we're kind of building our business for, I think you definitely need a website. I think especially if you're using things like Google, what's the other ones, like Yelp and other forms of
like lead generation.
Yeah, lead generation. I think it's very important to have a good website, because outside of word of mouth, nobody knows who you are. So your website kind of shows who you are, how legit you are. I think even when I'm looking for services, I go to do research. I look to see what their website looks like, and if it looks cheap, I'm thinking that's how they are. That's how they do their work, things like that. But I definitely think now my mind is completely like, you need a really good website. You need to, you pay for what you get, and it's important to get something good.
Yeah, I think a website is just like having a street address if you're a brick and mortar business. Even if you're not a brick and mortar business, people want to be able to look up and see who you are. I don't think websites need a whole lot of words. I think that is changing. So people aren't reading a lot. So having video on your website is important. Having video not at the very top, because Google ranks that a little bit lower. But making sure that your website has a nice polished look is super important, so people can actually find you. And then they get to know what type of value you're going to bring them before they even actually contact you. So they get to know if you're going to be a cheap provider or if you're going to be a provider that is a little more premium, what your unique selling proposition is. So what makes you different from the other 3, 4, 5 people that they're researching in that same time frame. So having those pieces to your website that introduces who you are, what makes you unique, what they should expect from you before they call you is super important.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Where do you start? Because like when you go to build a website, normally the person who's building the website is normally asking, how do you want it to look? What do you want on the website? Things like that. What was because you kind of was at the forefront of building our website. Mm-hmm. What was your way of learning what was needed and what's going to make drive traffic to the website? And how did you learn that? Or how was you able to tell the person building the website that information?
I think there are 3 pots of research, right? The first pot of research is to learn what does drive traffic to a website. That was a brand new thing that I didn't know before. And so learning a little bit about SEO and what keywords you need on your website based on what keywords people actually search for. So that when you're going to work with the web developer, you have that information on deck, because they're not going to know that. They're like, hey, I'm going to make what you tell me. Number 2, looking at other websites in your industry of premium companies and seeing what they have on their website. Now, I'm not saying copy their website, because sometimes they're wrong, but you can get a good sense of, do they have a calculator of some sort on their website? Do they have a coupon or a deal of some sort on their website? Do they have customer testimonials? Do they have, things for the customer to fill out where they can capture information? So that kind of gives you a blueprint of some basic things to put on your website. And then the third thing is doing research around what do other websites that pull in traffic heavily have. So that might be outside your industry. But looking at websites who are high traffic websites, what do they have? Do they have a way to capture customer information even if that customer doesn't buy that day? So I think those 3 pots of research are important to figure out what to do with your website.
So you say at first start with maybe a free website in the beginning.
Yes.
After you kind of get going and would develop kind of a budget.
Yeah, I think, and you get some customers. So that's really your third part is what do your customers tell you you're good at, right? What do your customers say that they appreciate about your business? And then that information needs to go on your website because that's your hook. That probably is what makes you different than the other service providers because that's why they chose you. So having that information, you need some time to know what that is before you sink a lot of money into something.
Yeah, I agree. I know, in the beginning, I thought, hey, a good website, just something to make it by. I knew we had to do more than free. And then I was like, well, about $500 should get us something decent. But when we started looking, you're talking about like average websites costing $4,000 or $5,000. And then the good ones that include making payments and things like that are over 10 grand. So that was kind of an eye opener to me. But you definitely pay for what you get, and I think we went all out for our website, and I'm starting to see the fruit of it. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think it's worth it. And I think, again, depending on your industry, there are things like Shopify and things that help kind of get you over the curve. You don't have to necessarily build a custom thing. But I do think you have to invest in capturing the customer that you want, right? You have to have good bait, just like any fish, right? If somebody has a jacked up little piece of something on their hook, somebody else has the best worm in town, the fish are going to the best worm in town more than likely. And so you have to figure out what your customer's hook is and then how to present that on your website before they get to you.
That's good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, well, that's
First quarter.
That's first quarter, and that is our take on getting your website and how we got ours and what we thought about it. So we'll catch you on the next one.
Y'all stay well.